Law, compassionate counsel in dark and stressful times. 225-4493 or at
brighterdaylaww.com. Dream college.
Another practice test.
Doesn't matter. I'll never be ready.
It's only the biggest test of her life.
When test prep stress takes over, Huntington can help. Huntington Learning Center helps students of all ages build the skills, confidence, and motivation to improve grades and test scores through personalized attention and proven results.
I got it.
Reject the stress. Call 1-800-CAN-LEARN now.
All right, we're back. It's Pat and Go with Paul Browning. Obviously, got my co-hosts, obviously. Guy Girtin.
Great talking football.
Mike Lewis.
Love it. Good to be here.
100%. And then our guest, Paul Hubbard.
Hey,
Paul.
What's up, man? Of course. Good to have you here. Big shout out to Kastle Roofing. Obviously, one of the show sponsors. Really appreciate you guys. And also the Huntington Learning Center. So big shout out and thank you to our show sponsors. I think, after you look at this past week, there were so many different ups and downs. We want to cover them all always. But the things that really stick out in our mind are when, it brings a lot of emotion. And you feel like you got to throw a flag.
Somebody know about this.
You got to let somebody know. So
I got a couple. I got one.
This is going to be Flag on a Play. We're going to go right now.
Here's your Flag on the Play, covering the biggest stories and controversies leading up to kickoff.
So at some point, we're going to have, somebody's going to go into the Flag on the Play Hall of Fame. And I think I've got the first guy because when I throw my flag this week, it's going to a guy who's gotten it so many times with us this year. DK Metcalf.
Oh, yeah.
You get another flag on the play, man. He gets ejected out of the Green Bay Packers, the game against the Green Bay Packers, just letting his emotions get the most of him. He's grabbing guys by the face mask, throwing punches. And, if you want to be the premier receiver, especially when you look at some of the young receivers and how good, this young receiving, class is. Yeah. You got to have a little bit of composure.
Right.
You cannot do, how bad did Odell look years ago when they had the Giants-Panthers game, him and Josh Norman, and he just couldn't, control himself.
He's such a chiseled athlete. He's so good.
Keep it in between the lines, yeah.
He's like one of those you buy at the store. Those statues. Because he's perfect. But you're right, man. He's got to get it going.
The moment he gets it together and he can get a little bit more control of his emotions, he can really be, hone that in. You get upset about a play, whatever. Right. Line it back up. Go to the huddle. Line it back up because you're stronger than every other DB that you're going against. Yes. You're faster than just about everybody else on the field. Yeah, let your play do the talking. That's where I'm at. Sure. Flag goes to DK Metcalf. Control yourself, bro.
I agree with you. I'm not going to go into Teddy Bridgewater. He gets a flag, but we hash that, so let's not talk about no tackling by Bridgewater. But my flag goes to this kicker for Detroit, this Ryan Santosa, who is now no longer with Detroit. But he missed an extra point. He missed a very makeable field goal. And poor Detroit trying to get their win. No. So I'm sorry, Ryan, you get my flag.
Well, they're not going to go 0-17.
No, somebody.
We've made it.
I just hope hope they beat somebody before they meet the Broncos here in a few weeks.
Knock on wood.
Hey, look.
They can't go. Or you got to tie now. So at least you'll go 0-16-1.
Right.
You know.
But they had that game. They could have won that game. So.
Michael,
all right. Well, I hate to go back to COVID again, but another issue, Antonio Brown, he apparently paid, according to what's being reported, former live-in chef paid $500 to get a fake COVID vaccine card. I guess he wanted the Johnson & Johnson card because Johnson & Johnson, the original shot's only one instead of two for the other companies. Yep. And apparently the paperwork is easier, so that's why he went that way. But again, it comes down to honesty. Yep. And, in the news this morning before we recorded the show, it's been approved by the FDA that all adults now can get another booster shot. So this is not going away, this issue. Yeah. I just think people need to be transparent. And it just looks bad. And, of course, that was big news the other day because it came out. And there's text messages and things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's not going away. COVID is here to kind of stay, and it sucks to talk about, but it is what it is. Paul, do you have a flag?
Yeah, you touched briefly on Teddy
there
Bridgewater
you go.
guy. I mean, that was just terrible.
He's
I mean,
the
it looked
major
like
one.
he tried to blow on him as the
As he
defender
ran
past
by.
him. Yeah, he ran by. That wasn't cool. But my flag's going to Matt Ryan. You know, as I said before, I mean, this guy was #1 pick in my draft class, so he was that guy.
Yeah.
Phenomenal, smart guy from out of Boston College. You know, he always took care of business. Just because you don't have those weapons anymore that you used to have earlier on in your career, Julio's no longer there.
Calvin Ridley's hurt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Calvin Ridley's hurt. That doesn't mean anything. That means you still got to step up and make it happen. You said earlier that Mac Jones is making all these phenomenal plays with the caliber athletes on his squad that aren't Pro Bowlers, that aren't these big name superstars, but yet the Patriots are out there winning.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my flag goes to Matt Ryan. I mean, like I said earlier, he has not beaten the New England Patriots yet, and by now he should have beaten them at least once by default, and it has not happened.
Well, this was the time to do it. There's no
It
Tom
was.
Brady and there's a young Mac Jones.
Exactly.
This is the time to beat him.
Exactly. So he gets the flag.
Definitely. All right, well, let's jump into high school football a little bit. I know that we've got the high school playoffs going on. We did lose a couple of Colorado Springs teams, Southern Colorado teams, but they're as of the 4A playoff race, we've got Fountain Fort Carson, Pinecreek, and Palmer Ridge, the 3 Colorado Springs teams that are left. Really excited for Fountain Fort Carson. I know the head coach there, Novotny, Coach Novotny. He's a real good dude. And it's just an excellent football team. And so I'm really hoping for the best for them as they take on #1 Montrose. We've got Palmer Ridge taking on Erie. Palmer Ridge beats Erie. Fountain Fort Carson beats Montrose. We're going to have a Fountain Fort Carson, Palmer Ridge.
Wouldn't that be great?
Nice.
Yeah.
Colorado-
8 teams
yeah.
left and 3 are from right around here.
100%. Pine Creek is on the other side taking on Loveland, and the winner of the Dakota Ridge Chatfield game will play whoever wins the Pine Creek Loveland game.
This Fountain Fort Carson, they're 10-1. Montrose is 11-0, and they have to travel all the way over there tonight to face these guys. But talking about Coach Jake Novotny, I talked to him this week and some other players, and I asked him, what will it take to beat this top-ranked team?
Yeah.
We got to match their physicality. When they're on offense, we got to play assignment sound. They do kind of a different offense that you don't necessarily see week in and week out. Kind of an old school offense is what I'd say, but they've added some twists to it that make it difficult to defend. And so, make sure we're playing good eye discipline, and then, offensively, we got to make sure that we're going to get limited possessions because they're going to run the ball and they're going to run it. 4 downs, they're going to go for it, and so, when we have the opportunity to have the ball, we got to put points on the board.
Jake Novotny, and telling it like it is, you got to put more points on the board.
Yes, 100%.
Good luck.
I'm really looking forward to Lionheart receiver. You see, I got it on there. Lionheart, what's going on? Lionheart receiver Darian Martin. He's a young guy. He was able to make some plays and score a touchdown in this past playoff game. But they're going to need some help on the offensive side of the ball when it comes to the receivers and the guys on the perimeter. What are you going to do? Because we do know that they have an excellent. Fountain Fort Carson has an excellent running back.
Desmond Oliver,
Oliver.
He's incredible.
So it's like, okay, so if we know that he leads the state in rushing yards or, how great he's playing, they're going to stack the box. Outside perimeter guys, we need to start making some plays. Obviously, defense is going to have to step up.
And Coach Novotny said that they have an old-style running game so that they don't see much. So the defense is going to have to step it up.
100%.
All right, I'm liking Fountain Fort Carson. I'm in. That's my neck of the woods, so I hope they get the win.
Let's go Fountain Fort Carson, Palmer Ridge. We also want to see you guys get a win.
And Pine Creek.
Pine Creek, definitely. So I know, Paul, you had talked to Pine Creek
I did.
last week.
That program is it's a phenomenal type program. The way they run that is almost like a collegiate style program.
Yeah.
Like you talk about Alabama and how good they are and things like that. The way they run that program, they have it set up like that type of caliber collegiate program from the seniors all the way down to the freshmen, so varsity down to the freshman squad. And they intermingle those guys so that they're not just waiting until they get to the next level. They get to see it early. And so one thing about that I also like about that squad is the fact that I work out at Lifetime Fitness. Yeah. I see some of those kids,
a lot of them,
those high school kids over at Lifetime Fitness, and there's no games being played over there.
Yeah.
Those guys are big. I mean, are you in college already? No. So they're putting in the work. So it's not just the results that they get on the field. They're doing it off the field as well. And
That's
one
what
thing
it takes.
that I really like about them is they're very spiritual. And that's all by voluntary. They're not forced to do anything, but, they like to pray. They like to do all of those things, and I'm a big advocate of that. And so I'm cheering for Pinecreek.
Yeah, good.
Needless
Excellent.
to say,
Well, good. Look, all the Colorado Springs teams were rooting for you guys this weekend. We want to see you guys get some wins. You did mention Alabama, and that was something that I want to transition a little bit into college. Obviously, we have that college playoff picture. We have Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State sitting in that top 4. Cincinnati's still outside looking in. All right. Then you have Michigan State, and the list goes on.
That's my beef is Cincinnati.
So, right.
Where are they? They should be in there.
We've definitely already discussed why the college football playoff system is broken in the last episode. But my question to you guys, do you think Alabama ever falls off? Why not? It is an unprecedented run to see them, win how they've won. They've been in the playoffs every year since the playoffs have been the inception of the playoffs. You got 3 of the 6 appearances have resulted in the national championship, and they get the biggest and best recruits every single year. Will they always be atop the BCS?
Well, for a while, I think they're going to stay where they are. If you're a high school athlete and you got the dream to play in the NFL, where do you want to go? Well, where are you going to be seen?
Right.
Alabama's the place,
right.
Or maybe Georgia. But so they're going to be there for a while, I have a feeling.
Yeah, Saban's not going anywhere, I don't think. And I've got a special take on Alabama because my grandparents, when they were alive, lived in Tuscaloosa, and I remember going there every year as a kid to visit. Bear Bryant, of course, was held up at that point back in those days. Right. They've even got a special Coca-Cola bottle with Bear Bryant's picture on it. It was a special edition when he retired. Yeah, still got that. And no, I don't think they're going anywhere for a while. It's a religion in Alabama, really, football, and they care about it. Fans love it, and they got a program.
It's going to be steady for that program for a long time. And I said earlier when I was speaking to you guys that there's a few factors involved with that, and one of it is the exposure that program gets. Yeah. There are other good college teams out there, but they don't get the type of exposure that an Alabama team gets. Yeah. So when you're that young kid sitting at home thinking about, hey, man, I want to be the next, big thing in the NFL, but I know I got to go to college first. With all the exposure that Alabama gets, that's what they see all the time. Yeah. Now, if you're an offensive lineman, you might look at somewhere like my alma mater, Wisconsin. Those guys, they're pumping out NFL caliber offensive linemen every year. Yeah. So I think it's just based on what position you play and what your aspirations are. But the exposure definitely helps Alabama.
My take, as long as Alabama continues to recruit at the level that they recruit, they will continue to be great. You have Nick Saban, an excellent coach, a great coaching tree that comes from Nick Saban as well. They continue to produce all these NFL guys. As long as that is happening, they should be at the top, or if there is a change to the playoff system. Right. If there's a change to the playoff system and everybody now has a chance to get into the playoffs and play for the national championship, I think we would see a difference. You would see teams like Kansas will not just be happy with being, just being respectable of a football team. You're going to be teams that are trying to compete every year to win a national championship. It's hard to stay
at the top. I mean, you got like Texas back in the day and Nebraska back in the day. Yeah. And maybe they can make a comeback. Let's hope. But, got to stay there.
We will see. But that's going to do it for Flag on the Play. When we come back, we're going to jump into Under the Hood, go a little bit more under the hood with Paul Hubbard. But this is Pat and Go with Paul Browning. Make sure that we are liking and subscribing on YouTube at Pat and Go with Paul Browning or KPPF 1040 AM Radio. We'll see you here in a second.
Kastle Roofing. Rate delivers home loans built on trust. Whether you're purchasing a home or refinancing, for honest communication with a personal touch, visit rate.com/ChrisF or call 719-373021. Subject to credit approval. NMLS ID 1435075. Equal housing lender. Guaranteed rate NMLS 2611. Nationwide mortgage licensing system. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Colorado license number 1005.
Brighter Day Law are an experienced and qualified team of divorce and family law attorneys. Their aim is to help you get through that emotional and challenging time of divorce and other family disputes. The mission of Brighter Day Law is to compassionately help families resolve their disputes with personalized legal representation while keeping the best interest of the entire family at heart. Their attorneys handle all kinds of family law cases, including child custody, divorce, high asset divorce, mediation, and alimony. Brighter Day Law, compassionate counsel in dark and stressful times. 225-4493 or at brighterdaylaw.com.
Welcome back to Pat and Go with Paul Browning. I'm your host, Paul Browning. As always, I've got Guy Girtin with me.
Yes, great to be here again.
Yes, sir.
You betcha.
Got Mike Lewis.
Oh,
what's up? Got Paul Hubbard, our guest.
Good morning.
Man, it's so great to have you. It's so great to have you. We're going to jump into Under the Hood with Paul Hubbard here in a second. But before we do that, I do want to give a shout out to Kastle Roofing, always being a great sponsor for us, and also Huntington Learning Center. And then obviously make sure that we're liking and subscribing on Pat and Go. And also on KPPF 1040 AM radio and sharing those videos. We are currently live right now, so those who are watching, what's up? I think it's time for us to go under the hood.
It's time to go under the hood. We're taking an in-depth look at the topics on and off the field that shape our game.
I was going to say a couple of Cleveland Browns here, man. It's great to be in between a couple of Cleveland Browns, isn't it, Mike?
Yes.
Isn't that great? Although you guys never played together, right?
I tell you what, there's the relationship between me and Paul. I'll tell you the first time I ever met Paul, I'm at Whitefield Elementary. Okay. And I'm leaving out of the back of Whitefield Elementary because I live across the street. All right. That's one of the beautiful things. I always loved that I could look outside and see the football field. But when I'm walking out, there's just this big high school student who looks like everything that I want to be. Right. You know what I'm saying? There's this big guy here, and I'm going, oh, man. And I'm just like, hey, like, you play high school? You play here or whatever? And he's like, yeah, and you probably was like a freshman or a sophomore at the time. But I'm just like, man, yeah, like, nice to meet you. And then he told me his name was Paul.
Yeah,
and I was like, you're Paul too?
Oh, man.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
He said, you're Paul, I'm Paul. So that's just one of the things. And then I remember, following Paul for such a long time. Went to Whitefield High School, was an all-state. I just learned yesterday that you basically would have been a top three. Your long jump or your triple jump would have been top three in college national championships when he was in high school.
Wow.
Okay, so this man was a crazy
incredible.
triple jumper, crazy long jumper.
Job, man.
But even with all that being said, was able to get himself to the NFL, drafted.
Well, congratulations to both of you guys for making it to the show. I'm serious.
Yeah,
it's not easy to do.
Yeah, and both out of Whitefield High School, and I mean we've had our influence as well. Vince Jackson was such a big part of us coming up, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Yes. I do want to jump into your Springs guy. You're from Whitefield High School. What was it like heading off to Wisconsin? Usually we don't have as big of, guys going to big schools like that. What was that like, man?
Man, that was huge for me. I got to tell you, I just did the podcast for the Believe in Badgers podcast for Wisconsin a couple days ago, right? Yeah. And one of the things that we talked about with that was the fact that I was, exceptionally talented in track and field. And so I definitely had my pick of which school I wanted to go to. My academics were good. So I could have went anywhere in the country. And one of the things that got me out to Wisconsin was the fact that they've got a stellar track and field program. Their football program, which was led by Barry Alvarez at the time, was very successful. Yeah. But they had phenomenal academics at that school. And I know football or sports in general do not last forever. And as much as I've trained my body, I've also have to train my mind. You see what I'm saying? So I wanted to have that continuation. I was going to go to Miami.
I was good about this.
Look here. Hey, we're from Colorado, right? I was like, man, we've been playing in the cold for quite some time.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm going to go to Miami, man. There's beach, waters, all that other stuff. One of my favorite
all the other
shows.
stuff is the biggest distraction ever, right there.
It is. You know, I like Bad Boys with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. It's from Miami, so let's go there. My pops is like, you know what, Paul, you know, it's good to have aspirations like that and whatnot, but you have a very specific type of build. You're very unique here in Wyfield, Colorado, and Colorado in general. You've said that before, and you're very unique as well, right? So when you go to a place like Miami, you're going to go on a team where everybody looks like you. Everybody can do the same things that you can do. So how long is it going to take for you to play? You're right, Pop. You're right, Pop. So, you know, I only did 2 visits. Nebraska was my first one. And then Wisconsin. And I verbally committed to Nebraska after I went. I watched them. I went to a football game while I was out there. I watched Nebraska play. It might have been Texas. It was Texas. While I was out there, and I was like, man, I want to come here. I'm just looking at the atmosphere and whatnot. So I verbally committed, didn't sign anything. Came back home, trained, did my thing. Then I went out to Wisconsin. It was the coldest day of the year in Wisconsin. Let me tell you, the windshield was out of this world. My whole face was raw. I'm coming back, Vaseline, covering my entire face, trying to keep the heat. Trying to keep the heat, but my face was so raw because the wind was hitting it. And I got to hang out with not only the coaches, but the players and the members of the track and field program. But it didn't stop there. It was crazy because there were members of the men's and women hockey team coming to say, hey, come to Wisconsin, the basketball program, soccer. I mean, some tennis players. Come on, man. I mean, tennis.
They brought the truck.
They brought the red carpet out. I'm not even going to lie, man. So it was the coldest day of the year.
I got to ask you, did you ever consider Alabama? Because we were talking about Alabama.
I considered Arkansas. A little bit closer to Alabama. The reason why I considered Arkansas was because Arkansas had one of the top triple jump programs in the country. That's what they were known for. And that was my niche. That's what I was going to school to do, you know, potentially. So I did consider them.
Definitely.
I love the advice you were talking about your dad. I want to go back to that for just a moment. Growing up, did you guys go to watch games together, and the influence of your dad in your younger life?
My father and both my mom, they were Army. My father played on the Army basketball team. My father played sports his entire life, along with his 4 brothers, my 4 uncles. Sports thrived in our family, so it wasn't something that I was a stranger to, but I, unfortunately, started sports late in life. I caught the bug late. I mean, it was like middle school. I mean, by that time, everybody had been playing long before then, and so I'm just trying to feel it out now. But my father was always a major influence in my life, and he always gave me good advice, especially where I was coming up to like a crossroads type of scenario, and I didn't know really which way I should go. He didn't tell me where to go. It's kind of like how I treat my 6-year-old daughter now. There's a whole lot of beautiful things to look at on the horizon and the skyline and over there at the mountains. And there are so many different things out there. So I just point towards the mountains. I don't tell her what to look at. I just point over there like, hey, take a look. So she'll figure out what it is that she wants to focus on. And then when she focuses on that, then I say, hey, well, this is what that is. So the same thing translates over into life with my father. He never told me what it is that I need to like. He never told me what it is that I need to go towards. He said, hey, there's the world. Take a look at it. And so when I started to pick things out, he would explain it to me so that I could get it. You see what I'm saying?
That's excellent.
And so that continues even to this day. My father, he lives 15 minutes from me. My mother's in town now. As a matter of fact, she's with my daughter at home now. My daughter's birthday was Wednesday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, right?
Birthday,
So that influence that my father had was huge. He went to every single game, football, basketball. He was at every single track meet. He put me in traveling track club. He had to pay all kinds of money for it. It was expensive. I'm a big guy. You're a big guy, Paul. The stuff that we have to wear, it gets expensive, and you wear cleats out quick. So you always have to replace it. So my father was one of my biggest fans before I even had any fans. When I was still trying to figure it out, my dad was like, I know what you can be. You're not there yet. You're not going to get comfortable. You know what I mean? You're just going to keep working. So that's part of the reason, like, when I was like, hey, I'm going to go to Miami, Pop. And he's like, no.
So just want to remind the viewers, we're talking with Paul Hubbard right now, former NFL wide receiver, Cleveland Browns, Oakland Raiders, Buffalo Bills. Now, I was listening to you on the podcast with Wisconsin. There was a chance where somebody was, I think one of your coaches was talking to you about track versus football. That kind of made you sway a little bit more towards, okay, I think I'm going to play football. Was there, am I mistaken, kind of the money type aspect behind it?
There was a monetary deal there. However, more so than the monetary aspect that I really didn't get the time to explain in that podcast was how should I say it? The aura surrounding a football player versus the aura surrounding a track and field athlete. Track and field is huge when it comes to the Olympics. Now the whole world is watching track and field, and they're cheering for them because you got countries backing you. You have whole entire countries backing you, and they want to see you win because they want to see the United States of America win, correct? Football, the entire world watches football every Monday, Thursday, Sunday. So they're celebrating that more often, not just when the Olympics come around, right? But when it came to the monetary aspect, my coach at the time, my position coach, Coach Henry Mason at the University of Wisconsin, stud. I love that guy. He taught us so much, not only as players but as men. But we're in a meeting once, and we had these competitions in practice at the University of Wisconsin, offense versus defense, right? And when we're engaging in these friendly contests in practice, the competition is what made us stronger. The competition is what made us better. So we were getting trounced by the defense that day in practice. I mean, we were getting it handed to us. We had a solid defense, and it's just like we couldn't make plays on offense. And so, at some point in the practice, I run, I think it was a stutter and go or an out and up, and I just beat this DB. And I think it might have been John Stocco at the time. He launches this ball out, and I'm looking overthrown for a minute, but I got the wheels, so I'm running it down. Right? But it still looks like it's overthrown. So I lay out for this ball, and I'm parallel to the ground, and I catch this bad boy. And that gives us a boost in practice. And it's like, okay. And, it's about time we had something to shut the defense up because they've been giving it to us all day, right? I made that play. And at the time, I had some torn ligaments in my thumb. So I had a little cast on, this makeshift cast. But by all means, there was an obstruction. I still make this play. I catch this ball. And we're watching it in receiver meeting. Coach Henry Mason keeps rewinding. That's one thing that he did. You knew you messed up if he didn't say nothing because he sits behind you and he's just got the clicker and he's just rewinding it. And everybody knows the play, whether it's the game or practice. He's just rewinding it.
That's coming.
And he doesn't say nothing, but he's staring right at you and you just know it. You're not looking at him. He's staring at it. He's just rewinding it. So everybody's like, oh, crap. Or they're like, okay. So he rewinds it. He was like, hey, I still haven't figured out yet if you're a track athlete trying to play football or if you're a football player who also does track. And many might not understand where that comes from because there comes a certain level of toughness and tenacity that comes with being a football player. And if you could be that and still go out there and perform in track and field, that's great. But if you're a track athlete that just wants to go out there and play football, are you fragile?
We've seen plenty of, especially the wide receiver position, we've seen plenty of track and field guys who go and play in the NFL and absolutely get crushed, and they're like, all right, I'm giving up. I don't want to play football no more.
They're done. And so he was like, hey, I don't know if that's what you are, but I look at this play. That's a big-time play. That's the type of play that people make on Sundays. That's the type of play that we need for people to make here on Saturday. That's what's going to make your name. That's going to solidify you. And if you can make that play not just once, not just twice, but if you can make it consistently, that's what we want. And so he asked, I got to ask you this. How serious are you about this?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what do you mean, Coach? I'm here every day. He's like, how much money are you going to make per, meet that you win, gold medal that you win when you come up first place? And I was like, I really don't understand the dynamics on how they get paid with regards to that. However, I know that they get sponsorships, Nike, Reebok, all of those people, they sponsor them, and that's how they get their money. They get the commercials and all that stuff. He's like, okay. Now, how much money do you think you'll make making plays like that?
Yeah, on Sunday.
On Sunday. Yeah. And so I sat back and I'm like, good question, Coach. Good question, Coach. He's like, that's something I got to think about. But at that point, I had become so fond of the level of intensity. Not only that, but the atmosphere playing in front of, when I first got there, it was 85,000, but the stadium got renovated. I mean, it got upwards of 90-something thousand people at Camp Randall. I loved it.
Yeah.
How difficult was it to bounce around from the Bills and the Browns and then your allegiance? Is it, for an NFL player?
Yeah.
How difficult is that?
It's very difficult.
I'd imagine.
So even more so now, people like, hey, do you like NFL more or do you like college more? I tell them straight up, quite frankly, I love college. I watch college football all day. I could watch it every day of the week if I wanted to, because I just know the special, brotherhood and camaraderie that those players share with each other. And the fact that they have a shared goal. There's no hidden agendas. Now, NFL, they ask, okay, hey, who's your favorite team? I know you played for the Browns, the Raiders, the Bills. Who's your favorite team? Do you have allegiance to them still? And I'm like, you know what, man? It's one of those things where you grow up and you don't really understand what you're getting into, because you see it and it's very rare that one player gets to stay with one team their entire career. It's more common for players to bounce around. So I like to call it, we're mercenaries, pretty much. As an NFL player, you're mercenaries. You go to the highest bidder.
Then you got guys like Fitzpatrick. He's played I've lost the amount of teams. 12 teams? And he's good.
He's very good. He went to Harvard. Come on, Ivy League quarterback. They don't produce players, man. That guy was one of the best players that I played with. When I played with him in Buffalo.
FitzMagic.
FitzMagic. That came out when he was in Buffalo.
So I do want to talk a little bit more about some other things, like your favorite corners, and a little bit more about our influences coming up with Vincent Jackson. But we're going to take a quick break here. That's going to do it for Under the Hood. We're going to take a quick little break. We'll be back so we can do 50-50. You're going to do some picks with us as well?
Awesome.
All right, perfect. We'll do some picks. But this is Pat and Go with Paul Browning. We'll see you in just a second.
With a K has a combined 16 years of experience. Whether it's repair to your roof, a free inspection for possible deterioration of your roof, or a full-blown removal and replacement of your roof, we consistently provide quick, efficient service to protect your home or business. When it comes to hail damage to your roof, we have the expertise to help you there as well. We want to help you with all your roofing needs. Call us at 719-799-0609 so we can get started. That's 719-799-0609. We're a proud sponsor of the Pat and Go Show with Paul Browning.
Another bad grade?
I miss little grades and the square root of her biggest problem.
I studied all week.
I miss poor study skills. I stress beyond her comprehension.
We can't keep having this conversation.
It's not like I want to fail.
When low grades follow you home, Huntington can help. Huntington Learning Center helps students of all ages build the skills, confidence, and motivation to improve grades and test scores through personalized attention and proven results. Keep low grades out. Call 1-800-CAN-LEARN now.
Are you looking for a local, knowledgeable loan officer to guide you through the process? Guaranteed Rate delivers home loans built on trust. Whether you're purchasing a home or refinancing, for honest communication with a personal touch, visit rate.com/ChrisF or call 719-373021. Subject to credit approval. NMLS ID 1435075. Equal housing lender. Guaranteed Rate NMLS 2611. Nationwide mortgage licensing system. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Colorado license number 1005.
Riders Brighter Day Law are an experienced and qualified team of divorce and family law attorneys. Their aim is to help you get through that emotional and challenging time of divorce and other family disputes. The mission of Brighter Day Law is to compassionately help families resolve their disputes with personalized legal representation while keeping the best interest of the entire family at heart. Their attorneys handle all kinds of family law cases, including child custody, divorce, high asset divorce, mediation, and alimony. Brighter Day Law, compassionate counsel in dark and stressful times. 225-4493 or at brighterdaylaw.com.
Give the mic right.
What's up, YouTube? How are we doing? Everybody who's listening on KPPF, glad that you guys are tuning in. We are live. This is Pat and Go with Paul Browning. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure we like and subscribe at KPPF 1040 AM and also at Pat and Go with Paul Browning. We got our guest, Paul Hubbard, with us. Hey. What's up, baby? It's good to have you. We've got Mike Lewis. We've got Guy Girtin.
Great to be here. I'm ready for the picks, buddy.
Yeah, and Paul decided to stick around and do some picks with us. He's been with us the whole entire show.
Right.
We've loved it. I did have two questions I wanted to ask you, or just a question, I guess a brief story. One of my questions I wanted to ask you, who's your favorite cornerback that you played against?
Nnamdi Asomugha.
Okay.
He was the #1 corner in the league and the highest paid corner in the league before Darrelle Revis.
Yeah.
Darrelle Revis wanted Nnamdi Asomugha money.
Yeah.
Nnamdi Asomugha was a very intelligent cornerback. Not only that, but he was a shutdown style cornerback. You didn't go to his side, and if you did, you were testing the waters, and he wasn't afraid to come up and hit. But you didn't throw to his side because he was going to pick it, and he might have took it to the house.
And he was about our size.
Yeah, he's 6'3".
He's 6'3".
Every bit of it.
So
every bit of it.
The corner for me was Josh Norman. All right. He was also a guy. He's about 6'1", and he's long.
Yeah.
So he could put hands on you. Very quick, very smart corner as well. So
playing today.
Yeah, still playing today.
Yes.
So that was just, I was super curious about that. And then I want to do a real quick story. We both have the influence of Vincent Jackson, okay? Rest in peace to Vincent Jackson. He was
Absolutely.
a Wyfield legend, was at UNC.
Right.
With
high school.
Yep, Guy Girtin School. But there was actually a chance where me, Vince, and Paul Hubbard could have been on the same team at the same time. All right? This is back, 2014. Yes. Vincent Jackson is with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, okay? Paul has just come from – he had a very bad car accident, but he's coming back from that. He's healing himself. He ends up getting a call from Tampa for a workout or to go out there and do a workout.
Yes. So
basically putting the timeline together, if Paul hypothetically was to go out there and sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all right, 2014. A couple months later, 2015, I am entering into the draft. I go to the Bucks. I get released by the Bucks. I go to the Browns. I get released by the Browns. I go do a workout with the Panthers. Panthers like me. They don't sign me right away. The Bucks give me a phone call. If I would go and work out with the Bucks and make the team, it would have been me, Paul Hubbard, and Vincent Jackson, 3 Wyfield High School graduates.
What are the chances?
All in Tampa Bay at the same exact time. That would have been nuts. I would have loved it. Yeah. All of our hero, my heroes, both of you guys. Yes. That would have been absolutely amazing. So I do want to give you my love. I always appreciate. I got to tell you this all the time. I always appreciate you. I want to let you know that, man. So
tells you something about Whitefield too.
Yeah,
they're putting up
receiver high, man. Receiver high.
You bet.
So now I do want to make sure this is one of the most exciting times of the whole podcast and radio show of Pat and Go. We got to do 50-50. Time to pick them.
It's time for 50-50, our weekly predictions. These can go either way.
So we're going to end up flying through these. I know we got to talking so much with Paul. So much appreciate you, man. But we're going to fly through some of these picks. Right now, I'm currently 78-60. Not a bad week last week. Mike also not a bad week last week. 87-51. Guy, you were 37-28. We kind of know what we're talking about a little bit. We have winning records, right?
Games lately have been tough. They've been tough.
Especially with some of these games. Yeah. So let's just jump right into it. On the 21st, November 21st, Sunday, we've got the Ravens taking on the Chicago Bears. There's a 6.5-point spread going to the Baltimore Ravens. I'm I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens as well.
Yeah, Baltimore Ravens will win that game.
I got the Ravens.
Ravens?
I'm going to be the outlier because I like Justin Fields and the type of player that he's turning into.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be the outlier. The Bears just need a win, man.
Yeah,
Come on, man. The Bears need a win.
And they're at home.
Yes,
they're at home.
They're at home at Soldier Field.
Yeah, Soldier Field, yeah.
Let's see.
We'll see. We've got Green Bay heading out to Minnesota. There's a 2.5 point spread going to Green Bay. This is a game that may shock you. I could totally see Minnesota coming out with this because they always play Green Bay tough, and it's a really good football team. I am going to stick with Green Bay, though. I think they will beat Minnesota at home.
The division, I'm telling you what, I'm going with Minnesota at home. I just slight upset, but I think the Vikings are ready to win one. And Green Bay, they're tough to figure.
Yeah.
If they don't have Rodgers in there, he is playing.
Yeah.
But what kind of a team are they? Anyway, Minnesota's going to win that one.
Nice.
I'm going with the Packers.
Packers? I like it.
I'm going with the Packers as well.
Packers, I like it.
Yes.
We'll do the Colts heading out to Buffalo, which big shout out. NFL has decided to do the Hard Knocks in season with the Indianapolis Colts. I've watched the first episode. It was pretty cool. They were talking about a lot about, all the players having daughters, I guess.
Yep.
Like everybody's wives was pregnant at the same time. But other than that, the Colts are taking on the Bills. The Bills have a 7-point spread headed their way. I think the Bills do win, and I think that if you do bet with the Bills, they will probably cover the spread.
That's right. Buffalo at home is going to win this game. They're ready to win.
Yeah.
I got the Bills too.
I'm going to go for the Bills, even though I'm torn. Jonathan Taylor, phenomenal Wisconsin running back.
Wow, yeah, he is.
And he's been tearing it up
he
all
has.
year.
Yeah.
So he's going to go out there and produce. So it's going to be a task for the Bills to go ahead and shut down Jonathan Taylor. But I played for the Bills. That was my favorite organization to play for. I'm pulling for them.
Let's do it. I like it. We've got Detroit. Woo! Headed out to Cleveland. All right. 10-point spread headed to Cleveland. I'm actually gonna go with Cleveland. I said last week that Detroit, I would at least pick Detroit one time, but I'm gonna go Cleveland.
The Lions are gonna win one of these days, but it ain't this one. Cleveland at home is gonna win.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go spoiler alert Lions.
Whoa!
All right. Well, they're gonna win.
Now they're gonna win because Mike picked them.
One of these weeks,
right? I'm going for the Browns.
Okay.
On this one, yeah.
Browns definitely. We've got Washington heading out to Carolina. 2.5 point spread going to Carolina. I love Coach Rivera. So happy that he's coming home to Carolina to play Cam. I think he has a great understanding of Cam Newton. However, I do think that Cam and the Panthers have a lot of firepower. I'm gonna have to go with the Panthers.
Well, I agree. Cam's going to inject some punch, I think, in this organization. You get 3 or 4 every week that are toss-ups. Yeah. This is kind of a toss-up, but I'm going Carolina.
Carolina.
They'll figure it out.
I got the Panthers.
Carolina
Panthers.
Yes.
All right. We've got Houston at Tennessee. Tennessee with a 10.5 point spread. I'm going to go with Tennessee. Titans going to win this one.
Yeah, Tennessee shows up.
Yep.
They'll win.
Titans hands down.
Hands down.
The weapons, the quarterback playing well, Tennessee's going to win that game.
Tennessee, I like it. We've got San Francisco heading out to Jacksonville, West Coast, all the way out to the East Coast. 2.5 point spread going to the Niners. I'm actually going to go with Jacksonville at home.
Oh. I was going to say Jacksonville's up and coming. They're getting those young guys going, and the quarterback Lawrence. But I got to go with San Francisco. I think they're going to pull it out.
Yeah,
I got the 49ers.
49ers.
Yeah.
49ers as well, man. Sunshine is good, but Debo and those boys, man, they taking care of business.
I like Josh Allen. That's just I'm gonna cut that, and we're gonna just punch that in. I like Josh Allen. Miami heading up to New York. There's a 3-point spread going to Miami. I'm actually gonna go with the Jets.
Another one of those games. It's a toss-up. I'm going with Miami.
Miami's
gonna win that one.
Yeah, I went with the home team, the Jets.
I'm gonna go with Miami as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go with Miami.
We've got Cincinnati going out to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. We have a 1-point spread going to Cincinnati. This is truly the toss-up of the day. I'm going to go with Las Vegas.
Wow, we're disagreeing on several games, buddy. No, I'm going with Cincinnati. I don't know. They flying under the radar a little bit. Some other teams. Cincinnati's going to win that.
Yeah, Raiders have had some problems, with the coach, player, but I'm going to give them this game. Raiders.
Definitely. Last 4 games, we've got the Saints and the Saints going to the Eagles. The Eagles have a 1.5 spread going their way. I'm also going to go with the Eagles.
I'm going to go with New Orleans on this one. Ooh, it's a slight upset.
I like it.
I got Eagles.
Eagles, definitely.
Yes.
Dallas going out to Kansas City. 2.5-point spread going to Kansas City. I like this game, but I'm going to have to go with Dallas. I like how they play in Kansas City. They've been pretty good Kansas City the past few years.
Right. KC's up and coming. I'm going with KC.
KC.
At home.
This is one of those. This was hard
Another
for me,
one.
too, but I'm going with Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Keep it consistent. Cowboys have been consistent all year long. KC's been a little up and down. I'm going with Dallas.
Definitely. Arizona heading up to the 12th man, take on Seattle Seahawks, 2-point favorite going to the Cardinals. I am going to go with Seattle.
Another toss-up, but at home, Seattle used to be unbeatable.
Man,
and they're still coming.
Russ is back, man. Russ is back.
I'm going Seattle.
Cardinals 8-2. I think it's going to be 9-2. So Cardinals.
I agree. I think it's going to be Arizona. I mean, I love Russell Wilson in the 12th man up there, but Arizona's been just showing it all year. So
definitely. Last two primetime games, we got the Steelers and the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chargers at home.
At home. Chargers.
Yep. I got the Steelers.
Oh.
Chargers.
Chargers. I like it. Then we've got the Monday night game. The New York Giants are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's 11.5-point spread going to Tampa Bay. I'm going to stay with Tampa Bay.
Could that be the upset of the week on this one?
Get out of here. I hope not.
I don't think so, no. Tampa Bay's going to win that one.
Tampa Bay.
Lock it in.
Buccaneers.
Lock them in, Buccaneers. All right, that's going to do it for Pat and Go with Paul Browning. Thank you to Kastle Roofing and Huntington Learning Center. Thank you to Paul Hubbard, our guest.
Thanks, Paul.
Yes.
Thank you for having me,
So
man.
happy to have you here.
I appreciate the show.
We've got Mike Lewis, Guy Girtin. Go ahead, take a bow. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, you bet.
We will see you guys again next Friday live here on Pat and Go with Paul Browning. I'm your host, Paul Browning. I'll see you guys next week.